judge in the Southern District of Florida reportedly called Cannon and suggested she step down because of, quote, bad optics from her actions in the criminal investigation long before there was an indictment. The judge was referring to Cannon's 2022 decision to allow a special master to review the documents that were taken from Mar-a-Lago, a decision that was widely considered unusual. Does that sound like a weaponized system unfairly targeting Donald Trump? Joining us now, former Deputy Assistant Attorney General Harry Lipman and former Miami-Dade County Judge Jeff Schwartz. Gentlemen, Judge Schwartz, let me start with you first. You know the Chief Judge, Cecilia Altanega, who appealed to Cannon to not take the case. How often does this kind of thing happen? It sounds very unusual, and it ultimately did not work, it sounds like.
It's not unusual in the context that chief judges have this tendency to kind of baby new judges, especially very young ones, to make sure they don't get in over their head, make major mistakes that they will have to live down. I know Cecilia Altanaga. I worked with her on the state court bench. She's a very serious and very judicious person. She did not become the chief judge of the Southern District of Florida by happenstance or because it was her turn. She's there because she's good at what she's doing. And I'm sure that her suggestion was made, as it has been said, but said in such a way that there's no way that Aileen Cannon did not realize what she was being told. She was being told, you really need to let this one go. You need to let me appoint somebody else to hear the case, especially in the Southern District of Florida, where there are innumerable people who have done national security cases that would have had this case over with before the first of this year. So I think they're disturbed down there at what's happening. I can tell you that right now.
Fascinating. Harry, what do you make of these arguments these judges used to try to persuade her to decline the case? One judge saying there was no SCIF, no secure facility at her courthouse to review the classified material. The chief judge saying it would be bad optics. I mean, that's not good.
It is not good. And the first one, Jim, I actually take as a kind of a soft peddling. Here's a nice neutral reason. They did have to build a skiff for millions of dollars, and they might have thought that would have succeeded. To me, that second call, I agree with Judge Schwartz about the relationship with a chief judge generally. Indeed, a chief judge is as close as a judge gets to your boss, the chief judge that you want to really have good relations with. When that second call came and the chief judge said flat out, optics, you really, Judge Cannon, this is optics, and that affects the entire court, not to mention the 11th Circuit. That was unvarnished, and I think it was extraordinary that she ignored it and basically decided, including how she's proceeded to administer the case, not use the magistrate very much, and other kind of misadventures, that she's not thinking, as almost any new judge would be, about building good rapport with her colleagues and especially the chief. She's betting on another course.
Yeah, and Judge tomorrow Cannon is set to hear arguments on dismissing the charges against Trump on the grounds that the special counsel, Jack Smith, was improperly appointed. People have been raising questions as to why this is even being heard because, again, getting back to what we were talking about at the top of the program, this notion that the system's been weaponized against Donald Trump, here's another opportunity for yet another delay.
First of all, this motion has been tried as far back as I can remember and has never been successful. They did find a small hole in the original independent counsel law that was in place during the Nixon years, and so they put it now under the Department of Justice. So these special counsel are employees of the Department of Justice. They are supervised by the Attorney General. It comes out of the Department of Justice budget. Those were the problems that they saw, and they solved the problem under Article 3 of the Constitution. I think it's Section 2. That really talks about how people have the right to make appointments of other judges that are authorized by Congress.
Yeah.
And it deals with the Attorney General's office too. This particular motion has been denied over and over and over again,
Right.
to the point where all she had to do was look at Judge Chunkin's order from just a year ago and say, I'm going to do what she did. And she just
Yeah.
couldn't do it.
Yeah, I mean, Harry, it looks like both of these, the January 6th case and the documents case, unless there's something really wild happens, we're not going to see those cases happen before the election.
I think that's right. First, the immunity case that everyone is waiting for might well eventuate in a remand based on what the court says, and that would blow it out of the water. And this case, just as Judge Schwartz said, we have delay after delay. She's done something else. It's not, whatever it is, it's a straightforward question of law. She tomorrow has made an evidentiary hearing. God knows what evidence she wants to take, and she's invited, unprecedented, she's invited friends of the court to come in and make argument, two of them in favor of President Trump. That is certainly a recipe for delay. However, she does have this gag order coming up, and they've
Right.
pressed on that. If she doesn't rule there because it's somewhat exigent, there may be an occasion to take her to the 11th Circuit. And one thing, reading between the lines in this New York Times article, everybody, including the 11th Circuit, would love to get her out if they have a chance. If it were to
Yeah.
happen quickly, could the trial still go on? Maybe, but it's really tight already.
Yeah, and I have to go, but there's the prospect if she's removed from the case, the other judge has to come in. That slows everything down. I mean, the new
Right.
judge is not going to get. This is not the people's court. A new judge doesn't step. Not Judge Judy.
No.
Does not step in and say, "Oh, we're doing
Yeah,
this
it's
next week, and we'll decide the case in a day."
Right.
If only Judge Walker
Right.
could step in. All right, guys. Thanks very much. Appreciate it. Let's continue.